would you do if you were drafted into a war that you wanted no part of? Would you run and hide? Would you go bravely into battle? Or would you, like many men who were drafted into World War I, become a conscious objector? Today I will tell you about one such man who ended up becoming the war's greatest hero. History has always fascinated me, and I've written several papers about this specific person. Therefore, I believe I am a credible speaker on this specific topic. World War I was one of the bloodiest global conflicts in the history of the world. According to History.com, World War I took the lives of more than 9 million soldiers, 21 million more were wounded, and civilian casualties caused indirectly by the war number close to 10 million. So it is understandable why any person would not want to be a part of the war. Today I will be informing my audience about the life and heroism of Sergeant Alvin C. York by telling the story of his life before the war, his actions during the war, and the recognition he received for those actions. Alvin York before the war was nothing spectacular. He was your normal textbook alcoholic, and he was always getting into barroom brawls. After his best friend was killed in the bar fight, he came to face to face with his own mortality and turned his life around and became a devout Christian and pacifist. When Alvin York registered for selective service, he claimed rejection from the draft because of his pacifist beliefs, which made him a conscientious objector. Despite his refusal to kill, however, he was drafted into the war anyway. When he went into basic training in Georgia, he astounded everybody with his incredible marksmanship, and everyone was dumbfounded as to why he did not want to fight. But after talking with his commander, who was also a devout Christian, and taking a 10-day leave to visit home and to reflect on what he would do, he came back convinced that what God wanted him to do was defend his country and that he would be okay. His life before the war was one of the things that made him and his story so spectacular, but his actions in the war was the thing that made him the hero. Which leads me to my second point, his actions during the Meuse-Argonne offensive. York's battalion was aimed toward capturing a German position in the Argonne Forest, which was a hill called Hill 223. But his comrades were pinned down by heavy machine gun fire, so he and 14 other men were to penetrate the German lines and come at them from behind and take out the machine guns. Their group got behind enemy lines and captured a big group of German soldiers. While they were dealing with the captured group, the ground around them suddenly became peppered with machine gun fire, and it resulted in a loss of 9 of York's men. Because of this, York had to take command and worked his way to a position where he could fire at the enemy. He immediately began to snipe at the enemy position, and he ended up killing a number of enemy soldiers with his rifle before he was charged at with bayonets by German soldiers from the trenches. He then emptied his clip on the enemy soldiers. The German commander, seeing that they had failed to stop York, and that they were sustaining more and more casualties, offered to surrender his unit to York. At the end of the battle, the total enemy combatants that York and his men captured numbered 132. Upon arriving back at camp, Brigadier General Julian Robert Lindsay exclaimed, "Well, York, I hear you have captured the whole damn German army." To which York replied, "No, sir, I have only gotten 132. York's actions at the Battle of the Meuse-Argonne enabled American troops to capture the DeKalb Railroad, which was extremely beneficial to the Allies' goal. Alvin York was extremely recognized, which leads me to my next point, the recognition for his actions. York was given multiple foreign medals, making him one of the most decorated U.S. soldiers of the war. He was also awarded the Medal of Valor, which is the highest U.S. military award. One of the reasons why many people love and respect Alvin York is because he did not use his fame to profit for himself. Whether it was putting his picture on the front of a cereal box or making a movie about him, York did not get a single penny from it. Instead, he lent his name to a number of charitable organizations and civic movements and used his name to promote things that would benefit the communities around the nation instead of just him. Today I've told you the story of the life and heroics of Alvin York by talking about his life before the war, his actions during the war, and his recognition for his valor. Alvin York was just your everyday, average alcoholic until God turned his life around. When he was drafted, he registered as a conscious objector because of his newfound biblical beliefs. But after a short redirect, he became devout in his mission to make the world safe for democracy. He ended up taking an enemy machine gun nest and capturing 132 German soldiers. For his incredible bravery, he was awarded a plethora of medals, including the United States' highest military medal. He was also used by a number of charitable organizations, and according to History.com, he was credited by General John J. Pershing, who was the leader of the American Expeditionary Forces, as the war's greatest hero. Now that I've told you about the amazing life of Alvin York, I would like to ask you my opening question again. What would you do if you were drafted into the war? Would you run and hide, or would you, like Alvin York, boldly and courageously go into battle to protect your country? Thank you.